morning, it's Bob Mason from FX Empire and welcome to the daily crypto tech review of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin and Ripple's XRP. We'll be looking at the MACDs, the moving averages and the day's support, resistance and pivot levels. It is Saturday, the 5th of December. Jumping straight into Bitcoin against the US dollar, we're looking at the hourly candlesticks. Bullish start to the morning here. Going to see Bitcoin move through the pivot at 18,934 and back through to 19,000 levels, however, to take a run at the first major resistance level, sitting at 19,268. Going to see support from the broader market for Bitcoin to break back through to 19,000. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and resistance at 19,500 to cap any upside. In the event of a breakout, could see Bitcoin test the second major resistance level at 19,884 and resistance at 20,000 before any pullback. Failure to move through the pivot will bring the first major support level sitting at 18,318 into play. Barring another extended sell-off, Bitcoin should stay clear of sub 18,000 levels. The second major support level sits at 17,984. Looking at the MACD, we've got a slight narrowing of the bearish histogram, but nothing indicative of a bullish day ahead. So you need to keep an eye on that. On the EMAs, we're seeing the 50 close on the 100 and the 200, suggestive of further downside ahead. So key through the early part of the day would be to break back through to 19,000 levels to support a run at the resistance levels. Failure to do that and support levels are in play. Moving across to Ethereum against the US dollar, relatively bullish start to the morning. Going to need to see Ethereum move through the pivot at 584.72, however, to break through to 600 levels and bring that first major resistance level at 603.48 into play. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Ethereum to break back through to 600 levels, however. So barring an extended crypto rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level to cap any upside. In the event of a breakout, could see Ethereum test resistance at 620 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 639.28. Failure to move through the pivot will bring the first major support level sitting at 548.88 into play. Barring another extended sell-off, should see Ethereum avoid sub 540. Second major support level sits at 530.16. Looking at the MACD, slight narrowing of the bearish histograms, but nothing suggestive of a bullish morning ahead, so that's indicative of further downside ahead. Keep an eye on that. On the EMAs, we're seeing the 50 narrow on the 100 and the 200, also suggestive of further downside through the morning. So keep an eye on that as well. So key through the early part of the day would be for Ethereum to move through the pivot at 584.72 and break back through to 600 levels. Failure to do that and support levels are in play. Moving across to Litecoin against the US dollar, it's also a bullish start this morning. Going to need to see Litecoin move through the pivot at 82.5 to take a run at the first major resistance level, saying 86.98. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Litecoin to break out from 85 levels, however. So barring extended crypto rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level to cap any upside. In the event of a rebound, should see Litecoin test resistance at 90 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 94.39. Failure to move through the pivot will bring the first major support level sitting at 75.09 into play. Barring an extender sell-off on the day, Litecoin should stay clear of the 38.2% fib 71. Second major support level sits at 70.61. Looking at the MACD, similar trend here, slight narrowing of the bearish histograms, but nothing suggestive of a bullish day ahead. Looking at the EMAs, however, we're seeing a possible bearish cross formation there, so need to keep an eye on that. Bearish cross and expect a pullback through the morning. So key through the early part of the day would be for Litecoin to break back through to 82 and that pivot level at 82.5 and move through to 85 levels. Failure to do that and you've got support levels in play. Finally, looking at Ripple's XRP against the US dollar, bullish start to the morning here. Going to need to see Ripple's XRP move through the pivot point 5771. Take a run at the first major resistance level, saying 0.6113. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Ripple's XRP to break back through to 0.6 levels, however. So barring extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level to cap any upside. In the event of breakout, we've got the 23.6% fib at 0.6274 to pin Ripple's XRP back. Failure to move through the pivot would bring the 38.2% fib at 0.5285. and the first major support level at 0.5197 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ripple's XRP should avoid sub 0.50 levels. Second major support level sits at 0.4855. Looking at the MACD, we've got a narrowing of the bearish histogram supporting the early morning upside, but still bearish, suggesting some possible further downside ahead. On the EMAs, we're seeing the 50 narrow on the 200 after yesterday's late bearish cross through the 100. So that's suggestive of further pullback through the day. So key through the early part of the day would be to move through the pivot and back through to 0.6 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that, and you've got support levels in play.